come to order, please. And Liz, can you hear us?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Hi, Ivy. How are you?
yeah, you're Ivy somebody.
Ivy lives on Church Street.
That's
Oh.
Ivy.
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, great. Hello.
Nice to meet you.
I'm
Yes.
not sure how long I can stay, but I just thought I'd pop in.
Oh, terrific. Well, we're
All right.
delighted to have you. Thank you. We thought you were just a blank screen
No?
with a misnamed. Do you know everyone? I know I don't know you, but I'm Randy Warner.
Hi, no, it's nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Michaela Donovan. Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Michaela. And I
Jana.
know, oh, hi, Jana.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I know you either, but I know Patrick and Liz.
Right.
Oh, good. And Liz is on above your head right at the moment.
Yep. At least on our screen.
All right. If we could call the meeting to order, please. And Liz, the minutes from the last meeting are a usual fine piece of art. We have a move to accept them.
Move to accept the minutes.
Second.
Second.
I think we have to do the I-Ranny.
Yes.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Jan. Hi, Michaela.
All right.
Hi, Liz.
Good.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I just hope everybody saw the little report that I did for Stockbridge updates. And if
It was very nice.
didn't see it, thank you for all those who helped. And I don't know whether she'll ask us, or maybe you know, Patrick, she'll ask us again to, not exactly what the new procedure
don't.
is, what she's doing. But anyway, hopefully people saw our little report. Patrick, we had a CPC meeting?
Yes.
No, we didn't. Patrick,
Well, actually, I have two things to report on this. On the CPC meeting, we had a request to do some bonding, which was a little bit outside of the CPC's comfort zone. And so we kind of worked in real time at the meeting to try to help them finish the driveway. The driveway project has gone up about 33% due to the increase in construction materials costs. And we'd already approved 150,000 in the past 2 years. And I'm pleased to report that we were able to kind of rejigger things and provide another 125,000 in support to pretty much just about fully fund the driveway project to get it finished, hopefully this year. Wayne Slosak's awesome company, Tri-Town Paving, is doing the work. And I know that he wants to make it a priority. It's just, it's wet down there. So there has to be a bit of a dry, spell to be able to lay down the base and then the top coat. So that's working great. And I literally just got off the phone with Jane Ralph, who called me about 15 minutes ago. And we had a wonderful conversation about the inclusionary development bylaw, what that could mean, sort of the long-term, opportunities and issues that the folks at Construct and Pine Woods are going to face. And really the idea that what's going to be required to kind of take the next step and how to leverage some of those potential monies into a full renovation. So it was a very nice call. I had to actually get off to come in here, but I think that we're in good shape with CPC and we'll see how the town meeting goes, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
very good. Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
Good.
All right. Thank you, Patrick. Jan and Michaela, we are launching our very major important activity.
Yes.
So thank you for all the work I know you put in so far, but we're anxious to hear how your meeting went.
So we had our initial meeting with Karen Sonderberg on Friday afternoon. Michaela, myself, Karen, and Michael. It was a very good meeting. And really, Karen, I think, is a wonderful person to do this. She went over again with us a little bit about her background and her experience in working with a number of towns on housing production plans, including towns out on the Cape that have similar, not exactly the same, but similar kinds of issues that we might have in Stockbridge, namely a seasonal group that comes in the summer months, a large percentage of second homeowners and some of the issues that presents in the community and so on. So I think we all felt very good about moving forward with Karen. We went through, there are really 4 different, I would say, phases or pieces of this project and it'll last from now until September. And so those 4 are, the first part is gathering some information which would help with the needs assessment, which is step 1 of the whole process. And some of that has to come from town departments. And so Michael is going to send out a note to all of the administrators, letting them know that Karen will probably be in touch with them, looking for information for this, and to please share all of that. So we'll be in touch on an ongoing basis with Karen on where that stands and what information she might need in addition to that. I think what we're thinking is that we would not have that that information and digested and a needs assessment done probably until the June meeting for this group. But we're hopeful that we might be able to bring back that first piece at the June meeting when we have that. The second piece, which is part of, I would say the second and third pieces are really part of a kind of community outreach or involvement of the community in this whole process. And one of, there are 2 pieces of that. One would be a lot of the town administrators or town leaders that we might want to interview or engage with to be part of this process. And so what we're doing is trying to put together between now and May 3rd, a list of who those people are. You might want to add some to it to make sure that we have a complete list. I think what we try to do is have those interviews or those discussions include Karen and at least one of us in each of those. And there may be multiple ones with some individuals. And that whole process would kind of take place in second half of May and through June, I think, so that we can get all of their input.
Jan, how many people do you think?
I don't know yet, but probably upwards of 20, I'm going to
Yeah.
assume.
That's how MVP was. The municipal vulnerabilities plan, which was very.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, Michael talked about that.
So, so Patrick, you might want to send maybe the MVP list or some other similar to
Yeah, I
that
think
or
we
whatever.
should, people in the planning board, zoning board of appeals, select
Yeah.
board, conservation, just really kind of a broad cross section of folks. I think we should also include, well, how much of this will deal with workforce housing and rental issues in addition to affordable housing?
Good question. We asked Karen to cover in her needs assessment, kind of look at workforce housing, senior housing, obviously affordable housing, and disability housing.
Right. And so the senior housing part, we already did that MVP study, which has part of that in it. It was around senior resilient housing. And we had a lot of really good conversations. So make sure that she reads that, the MVP report from 2021.
Okay.
But I would also just suggest that, there was obviously some debate. I think the Eagle, labeled as controversy. I think that there was a healthy debate around the ADU bylaw. And I really think that this group, maybe even more so than me, might really be a good fit for trying to understand various needs. Like, for example, one of the second homeowners who spoke really talked about how they could be part of the long-term rental solution. I say they, folks who were maybe not owner occupied at the time, but wanted to rent, with an annual lease, that, kind of figuring out some of how we have to modify and improve the draft ADU bylaw, I think could really fit well as part of this process and part of a much more inclusive process than I had the time to do individually myself. So, we've got a good first draft. It's been vetted by town council, but, kind of just really, I think we got to all be willing to listen to the myriad voices who want to participate in this discussion, and that this is a great opportunity to use this process to sort of figure out if there's what, if any, modifications that we might want to make to that draft, you know.
And actually Karen is mentioned to us in our meeting that she has a lot of experience, with ADU.
Good.
And different towns and different approaches to how they did ADU, the pluses, the minuses, what seemed to work, what didn't work so well.
Well, let's make sure
And
she has
so-
the draft.
Yeah, we'll make sure she has the
Yeah.
draft and that we
Yeah.
include that in some of the discussions in the interviews.
And because of the school merger, the school district merger, it's likely we're going to have a town meeting in September, October. So it's conceivable that, as this process wraps up, that we could bring a new draft and try to get it in a mid-year town meeting. So that's good.
Okay.
There's some, excuse me, just wondered if there's some thought about, it's one thing to interview people who are on our various boards, because they're clearly people who've stepped up and are interested. But there are also some very good people who,
In the community.
Yeah.
in the community.
Yes.
Will we try to identify?
Absolutely.
some
That would
of
be
those
great.
people?
Business
Absolutely.
owners or,
And we did 3 Zoom sessions. It was during COVID.
Yep.
I think there were 2 or 3 Zoom sessions around this senior resilient housing initiative as part of municipal vulnerabilities, the climate project. And on one of them, we had 80 or 90 people, really weighing in on
great.
downsizing, staying. That report is really good and really worth reading.
Michael that came up a lot, actually,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the meeting. Yeah, which is great.
Are we duplicating in our?
Well, that's why I think you should read the report and build on that.
Maybe we can expand in
Wrap around
different
it.
ways and include
Absolutely.
And do
aspects
we
of
have?
that, rather than-
It's Karen, right?
Karen.
Yeah.
So we'll get her a copy of that. So,
Yeah. Get ourselves a copy.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I got it off online. Online. I should
Online,
say.
on the
You can
website.
print it online.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Great,
I'm
great.
sure that's, because I know I have one.
Yeah.
Because Kate Fletcher, who's chair of the planning board, asked me, she had some questions. And I'm drawing a blank as to what they were. Remember, Kate checked in to one of our meetings, but I don't think we really finished I wasn't clear what she wanted us,
Yeah, right.
what her issues were. But
On the ADU, her big issue is she just wants us to have one combined ADU bylaw. So I wrote a draft that was kind of a start from fresh, but we already have one on the books, which is sort of limited, but nevertheless it is on the books. And part of this process will be for maybe Karen to look and think about kind of what we have and what I proposed and what some of the, support and pushback was on what I proposed, and really try to hear all the voices. I think it's going to be, however things work out, I think it's going to be important to try to broaden the input. I'm doing the best I can, but it's like, I'm just
absolutely.
one voice.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
So.
totally.
what about on the ADU? Where does it stand right now? It's not going to be heard at this town.
We're not going to, we tabled it, and that's a perfect opportunity to get it as part of this process.
Is there another ADU committee, or
No, this is it.
is it Patrick White?
It was Patrick, and I think it fits really well with this consulting.
So we can incorporate
Yeah,
Okay.
as part of the recommendation. I mean, that's an important way to provide housing. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
perfectly,
It's a nice opportunity to dig into it a little bit more and see.
see what the other
Yeah.
options are, and particularly if she has a lot of experience, and Karen has a
Yeah.
lot of experience.
and look, not everybody's going to agree on every point.
Right.
But I think we try to listen, and we try to, I think it's important that disagreeing is okay,
Not only okay, it's part of being in a civil society.
right, exactly. And so when
We hope.
talks about discrimination or divisive or whatever.
Right.
I feel like the very fact that people can be here
Right.
because we've invested in Zoom and all these things is indicative of our desire for as many voices to participate as
sure.
possible. That's how we're going to get to the best idea,
Yeah.
the best answer.
Right.
And she did mention that it has been quite successful in some of the towns that they have implemented it. And so it'll be interesting to see comparatively from the drafts we have and what they've done, and then different advice that she may have that
Yeah.
we might not have thought of, or.
And the sticking points are going to be, I don't think anybody likes short-term rentals who lives here, whether primary or secondary owners, but that may be a tool that significantly improves affordability, like folks who, leave for the summer and
Yeah.
need to rent their house to be able to afford it. I don't
Right.
know any of those, but.
Right.
And I think that like looking at ways that we craft the bylaw that really that accomplishes what the town's goals are.
Right.
Really having a good definition discussion of what the goals of this should be, because
Right.
for me anyway, it's really around, kind of making sure that there's a robust community here. And specifically, kind of trying to figure out how we encourage some of these laws without encouraging this absentee owner thing is gonna,
Yeah. I think it's like getting to, when I'm thinking about it lately too, and then listening to Karen talk and everything, I think it's also just getting to a place of balance for a lot of this, right? I mean, how do we create a community where people can afford to be here, where people who already are here can afford to stay here? How can the businesses find people to work here? And then on top of that, we can't deny that it's a tourist community.
That's right.
And there's a great value in that and a great appreciation in that. And how do we keep it a robust and healthy and exciting place for people to visit? Because, the reason, we came here was because we visited here first and we stayed here in a short-term rental and said, like, we could see ourselves here. You know what I mean? So I think it's, how do you balance those things without them tipping the scales so much in one way or the other? And I think that's maybe part of this.
And I think we need field trips. Like, for example, I know Nantucket is a really great,
You can
is
all
a really
come.
great, community that has some of the same issues.
We need to hear about
I've got a
that.
sleeping bag,
It's
and
illegal, but you can come stay.
I think maybe we need to do like
On my
a
back
long
porch.
session or something, just,
That's right.
where we could have a few.
I don't think any of us
That's right.
can afford to go to Nantucket.
I can't afford to go to
We can go
Someone on
and,
our board is spending the summer.
but you're always welcome.
Ivy, I don't know if you're listening in for a particular reason, but if you have any comments, feel free to speak up.
Ivy, you can come to Nantucket too.
Yes.
So there you go.
Sorry, I had my mic off. Yeah, I've never been to Nantucket, so.
Bucket list.
It's lovely.
Nothing specific, in fact, I don't think I can stay much longer, but I'll read your minutes or something later.
But do you have some interest in personal interest in affordable housing, or are you just?
Yes, I'm sorry, I do. I'm just, I've been living here for 10 years in a rental, and I don't know how much longer I'll be able to stay here. So I'm, looking at like, where can I go? When this rental is done, I'm just like trying to come up with some ideas and keep abreast on like what's going on.
That's great.
What do you need?
Well, I'm me, and my son is in his first year of college, amazingly. And of course I have this cat that Liz can see, but you guys,
Oh, we can.
No, we can see your cat.
Yes,
you can see my cat.
We can see your cat. Yes, we can see you're holding on for dear life to your cat. So that's terrific. So you need a 2-bedroom apartment, and do you want to buy something, or do you want to continue to rent?
I'll buy something, but I don't think that's in the cards for me right now. But that, that could eventually change as my situation changes. But right now, my landlord is elderly. I don't know how much longer I have here, and I'm just trying to get a feel for where you guys are at, and if there's anything, I can learn about, so that I just, looking to the future and kind of scared.
Well,
I'm gonna, where I'll go.
Call me later, because I have somebody you should contact.
Okay.
Go.
I think
Liz
that-
knows everyone.
Yes,
It's
by all
about
means,
banking. It's
Yeah.
about-
Great. That's
Stay close to Liz. We are, just so you know, we're only about 6 months old, I think, maybe. And so this is set up to try to assess and really look into what opportunities could be in Stockbridge to broaden our housing base. Right now, it's pretty much unaffordable by almost everybody, unless you have a bank account, I guess, that you can put in a large train and carry around with you. But there are a lot of questions, and I think some of this, what ADU means, it's a law that would allow people who live in large houses to add a second dwelling unit, which would be exactly what you need. I don't, do you live in a house now or an apartment?
It was just a little house, yeah.
On a property, sort of like an ADU now. Yeah.
Right. So people will be allowed to have small houses of what's,
Well, the way the draft is 900 square feet,
so
plus or minus
something,
10%.
something around, say 1,000 square feet. So it would be small, but I lived in New York City and 1,000 square feet is a mansion.
Yes.
So we aren't used to that here.
Yeah,
But,
thanks for filling me in on the ADU because I wasn't sure what you guys were talking about.
right, it stands for accessory dwelling unit. That's the ADU. And there are a lot of them already in the town because they are allowed, but it's very restrictive. And so we're looking at ways to broaden that law, their bylaw, so that more people could have access and could then accommodate you're the perfect kind of person who needs exactly what this bylaw has to offer. So
Right.
perhaps you will get a phone call and be interviewed. And then you can be a star in our study.
Willing, sign me up.
Anyway, thank you for taking the time to join us. So
And I think I will go off now and let you guys continue on, but thank you. It was nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Board,
you.
Ivy.
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Okay. So
I wanted to, I have some questions. Do you want me to? They have to do with the planning board because as I understand it, we certainly want to work closely with the planning board.
Right.
Liz, since you're a member of the planning board, sort of how best do you think we should have a preliminary meeting with Kate? Just as an informative thing so that she's well briefed on what our plan is and meet Karen?
Sorry, people going in and out of my door. Yeah, we could. You could also come to a planning board meeting so that everybody on the planning board is abreast of what's going on. If we could get you on the agenda. Our next meeting is in a week or two. We didn't have one last week, so it's
It's
probably
going to be the first, what, Tuesday in May.
next week. So
Yeah.
she may
Week
not
from
have an
tomorrow.
agenda. See if she can put you on the agenda.
Well, I
I won't be able to be here
yeah, Jen, I don't know.
on Zoom.
I'm just bringing that up as I know that you plan to work with a lot of the town boards and members, but the planning board is very specifically
Yeah.
focused in your work. And it seems like if we're reaching out and talking about land use and property use and ways that we can create more living units within our town, whether we are going to be changing or recommending changing in zoning and things like that, that fall very much under your overview. So I don't know that we could do it so quickly.
Maybe
but-
we could get some dates of the meetings and then see if Karen
And even separate,
online.
in advance of the meeting, maybe a couple of us could meet with her and just let her know what's going on.
And she's got an encyclopedic knowledge of the bylaws. She's really well.
She's the one to talk to.
Yeah.
I haven't memorized the whole thing yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how many people So Patrick, you can tell me how many people could meet with her outside of a meeting?
Well, I think we've got 6 members now, so up to really just two probably, because it's a 7-member board. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we're 7 members now.
and did you get, yeah, okay.
So,
So 3.
so Liz, perhaps you and I could meet with her sometime in the next couple of weeks. And then we'll schedule a time to go ahead and come to the whole planning board after that.
I would think I would write her and would be best to write her a note to let her know that's what you're thinking of doing so that she can,
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
then she'll be more likely to schedule it quickly.
Okay, I can do that.
Thank you, Liz.
So back to the second part of our kind of outreach and so on is to have a community housing survey. And Karen has had a lot of experience doing these. She has multiple drafts. She is planning to send us her suggested draft by the 3rd of May. And then we'll tinker with that perhaps or not, and bring it to this group on our May meeting, the 22nd, so that we can decide on it. We may want to share that with a couple of other people before we.
And remember, there's also a resilient housing survey as part of MVP. So you want to get those questions because it's great answers, it's great
Right.
comments.
And not-
Get that to her so that we're
Yeah.
What does that
She can build
mean?
on that.
Resilient?
resilient housing survey.
What does that mean?
It was basically, that was the name of the additional grant we got from the state when we were doing the MVP for senior housing.
Right.
It was a resilient housing initiative and there was a survey.
What's the word resilient mean in that context?
Means people keeping their homes.
Ah, okay. Sounds like a
Yeah.
euphemism.
Or it could be like, kind of resilience from climate, but also resilience in terms of like the changes and how they might impact. Yeah, it was good. There was a lot of really good questions and answers.
Okay, and you had a Zoom?
No, it was an actual survey.
There was a
written
survey as
A
part of
written
it.
survey?
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
that's part of,
Is that,
that's
are you
all
thinking
part of
of
that
that
report.
too?
Yes.
Yeah, so we don't want to, we probably wouldn't want to duplicate those
Right.
questions, but we definitely want Karen to see them so she.
Yeah, build on
Is
it.
there a
Create
lot
some
of
new ones around that.
overlap with this?
I don't know, you guys decide. You guys should just review it and
Yeah, we'll
decide.
review it.
This was focused on senior housing. So
Sort of like one branch.
one
of
branch of
this.
it, yeah.
Yeah, which is actually
So
nice. 'cause-
That's all it was on? The focus
It
was?
was focused on senior housing.
Okay.
Okay.
So, so we try to get a draft to this group for the May meeting, and then we would send it out to the community right after that. And sending it out to the community, there are some issues. Michael was telling us that since there is no IT department in the town, we might have to jury rig a little bit here and there.
For
He
what?
also mentioned that there's which I didn't even know, that there's a second homeowners website or
There's a listserv.
listserv. And that we might be able to have it also sent out via that. So I think the mechanics, I guess is what I'm saying. We've got a little homework to do on how we would do this survey.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we have our emails, but we certainly have a list for everybody who pays taxes.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of what, being sort of inclusive and equitable about how people can access it online versus do people need it in person? Do they need it mailed to them? Do they want a hard copy? I think it's like figuring out those logistics.
And we left them at the post office when we did the other.
Right.
We left them at
them
the
somewhere
library, and the post
central.
office and physical surveys.
That's a great idea, I think.
Yeah, that is a
Yeah.
good idea.
So you did multiple things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
because
kinda
some
has.
people don't want to do it online.
Yeah,
so-
you can't, a lot of people are not, they're
Tech
not going
savvy.
to click on links.
What percentage of people actually did it? Just
I think we had like 90 or 100, no, or 130 responses. It was a lot. We got a really good response from that. I mean, it's been 2 years, it's a little foggy, but
Out of 2,000?
that doesn't seem like a huge response.
no, but it was just for seniors. There's 500 people in this town who are under 40. This is focused on senior.
Oh, you want to
residential
just, but we're going to ask everybody.
We're gonna ask
right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what you're talking about is broader, but
I
for,
see.
for residents who are seniors, it was a pretty good response.
Ah,
But we'll see.
well, those seniors have very.
And by the way, responses and surveys, I think if, you get 100 responses, it's a pretty great, not a lot of, let's face it, it's a survey.
I mean, it does sound, I agree with Liz, it does sound like, whoa, that's not, but I mean, we are a tiny
You can
town.
always go door to door. How much time you got?
In college, we used to get.
I've got some
free pizza,
addresses.
and that brings them out.
That
Tell
brings
you.
them out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, free food.
How
Always
about,
does it.
how about free drinks?
That'll really.
That might do it too.
Yes.
Okay, so then, so we'd send it out around the end of May and then try to have it back by, in whatever form it comes back, by the middle of July, and then be able to summarize things, within the next couple of weeks after that. So sometime in August, have that part of the report done. And then the last piece, of course, is developing the production plan, housing production plan. And there'll be a series of meetings and activities around that, which probably won't start until July? Is that about? when-
I think she said we lean more towards August just to make sure that the
We get all
survey information.
everything in.
Yeah. But we spent a lot of time talking about how to facilitate some community meetings in person, Zoom, the challenges with some of those things. And
Right.
so again, that's a logistical thing. I think we'll work with Michael and
But it's great to be doing the summer because then we'll have twice the.
that's
people
what,
here.
that was brought up as well. Yeah. Yeah.
And is
So-
the idea, excuse me, may I just ask? Is the idea to have some information collected when we do, I guess you called it the third part, to be able to share some of the things that she is
Yeah.
collecting?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
That should feed into the development of the housing production plan. And I think in that process also, we'd want to have a lot of interaction with various community leaders and board members in various boards.
Right.
You know, what are we seeing? What does it seem to indicate?
Right.
You know, how,
What are the
talk about
questions
all
that we
this,
want to
yeah.
like break out in little groups and talk about and.
so it's not something that's developed kind of in a vacuum
Right.
somewhere. It's really an engaged process.
And then moving into the strategy from there, what are the actual steps being recommended based upon that whole journey?
Yeah,
Which leads us into like September and the sort of conclusion of
yeah.
next steps.
I mean, the target would be to finish this by the end of September.
Good.
I'd say that's very ambitious.
It is, but it may run over, but that's the target. We're going to target that.
Okay.
See if we can
And
get it
that
done.
fits her, I assume it also has to fit
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
work schedule.
Yeah.
She does this herself.
Yes, she does it all.
She was great. She was very curious. What I appreciated was she asked a lot of questions about Stockbridge, about the community. She wanted each of our opinions about it and she was just very curious and it was nice to know that she did have some experience with sort of correlating parallel communities, even if they're not exactly all of the challenges we have or all of the things, but.
And she'd
she'll be a
obviously
good-
already done some research to
Definitely, yeah.
find out a little bit about Stockbridge and kind of.
Did Michael send her signed copy of the contract? Is that all executed?
Yes, I think that's all executed. We talked about
And
that.
did
at
she
the
ask for
beginning.
money, a little, like a deposit?
No,
Okay. And Patrick, are we going to, we meaning the trust, to pay for this? Are we going to use the ARPA money or some of the money that we have in the bank?
I think we have to use the ARPA money because the other money is CPC. And
And studies are not.
I don't know, but the ARPA money was specifically designated for this purpose.
Right.
Okay,
okay.
great. And do where is that ARPA money?
I have it right here.
In your pocket? If you could leave your wallet here with Jan so that she can pay the bills. But
I would trust Jen with my.
I think it's somewhere stored in an electronic file at some bank and all you gotta do is work with the treasurer, Erica, and.
okay, good. But it's all, I'm just asking, it's all officially allocated to us for this purpose?
It is,
Okay.
right. And the Bitcoin part too, yeah.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Okay,
Just kidding, all those who are watching.
I may need some help with the Bitcoin part. I don't know.
oh, all right,
I
good.
still don't understand how it works. I've read about it, but I don't understand.
It doesn't work at all.
It's like they don't understand.
It doesn't work at all.
You mentioned the next meeting. There's an error on our agenda, which
Yes.
says our next meeting is 16th, but I think she's not available, and
Well, I haven't asked her. I had asked her about the
I'd rather not meet on
22nd.
election day.
okay.
I thought we were meeting on the
22nd.
22nd, yeah.
Yes, there's a.
I won't be here if you.
So consider that an error on the agenda, and we're meeting on the 22nd. So,
Okay.
Okay, and she can come, and
Yes.
the focus of that meeting will be to meet with her and to really
Yes.
perhaps even go in more detail about what she's doing.
Yes.
All right. What will she have done by, if anything?
She will have done some of the data collection.
Oh,
She will have, we're going to be discussing the community housing survey that she wants to send out. And she may have more to discuss about the sequence of the development of the housing production plan itself. Because I think it would be good to kind of flesh that out a little more than we discussed the other day.
sure.
Before we get into it.
Okay. That's great.
Good.
Well, so that will be do you want to transition to our next meeting? I had hoped actually that Carol, not Donovan, but the woman who is Bauman is her
Bauman.
last name, who is head executive director of the CDC of South Berkshire. And she was going to come to this meeting, but unfortunately she is on vacation. So but she said she could come to our next meeting. So is that too much to have? I mean, will you want to just use our next meeting to focus on this?
I think
We
so,
probably should.
yeah.
Okay, so I'll move
So maybe
her.
she,
But I think the next couple of months,
Yeah.
this is going to be a giant effort.
Yeah.
Where we're constantly collecting information and, yeah, I think we should really,
Make it the focus.
make it the focus.
Make
yeah.
it focus, okay.
And I wanted to ask about the June meeting because I didn't think it was June 5th.
Well, since one is wrong, why not have both wrong?
I don't remember what we wrote down, but
As the keeper of the scribe, Liz, what do you have for our next meeting,
the June meeting.
the June meeting?
Did I have a June meeting on there?
I don't know if we
Well,
decided.
being the
Oh, maybe
23rd.
we didn't.
I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
All right, so,
Well, I can tell you, I can't do the 5th.
okay, so we won't do the 5th. When, what would you like to suggest? We're meeting on the 22nd, the 5th is kind of soon. We probably want to have enough, sorry, is
Monday, the 12th?
that any good?
Yeah?
I can do Zoom.
Can you, oh, so you'll be gone.
Yeah.
We're going to lose Michaela for the summer.
I know.
We're going to miss her.
Oh, we're not going to lose her. We're just going to Zoom her.
We'll only have her by Zoom and she'll be
I
sitting
know.
sitting on the porch sipping.
I'll be sitting in the theater. It won't be that exciting.
Okay. 12th, June 12th,
Yes. Okay.
right? Excellent.
4:00.
4:00.
Yeah. Does anyone have an opinion about whether you like meeting in this room or you want to go back to the,
Doesn't matter to me.
does anybody care?
Meet outside.
We could start meeting outside.
Picnic.
Liz, do you have an opinion on that?
More comfortable.
I think it's all about whether there's something else.
The chairs are better in the other room. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's
Okay.
just whether or not there's.
That it's, the Monday seems to be a conflict with, depending on which week we end up in. One of there's a bog committee.
The what? Oh, Campusa.
Yes, yes.
You want to meet at Campusa?
No, they have a meeting that they have a meeting in the selectmen's room.
Just right now?
Well, today
Yeah.
that's why we're in
I should go
here.
over there.
Are you in it?
No, I restarted it, but we have 7 volunteers over there. We're saving one of only 2 calcareous fens in the state of Massachusetts, both of which are in Stockbridge.
Really?
Lake Agawam
Wow.
and Campusa Bog. And Campusa Bog it's basically a special type of bog that has its own flora and fauna that have
Wow.
developed because the closest one is 60 miles west or 60 miles south, and we're the only 2 in Massachusetts.
Wow.
It's a-
That's the one
it's an
where-
area of
Yeah, that's what we do.
area
Yeah.
of critical environmental concern, ACEC. It was designated by the state.
Interesting.
But is that where Pine Woods is located?
No, it was.
No, it's
No,
on Route 7, almost by the Moose
Right.
Pike.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bog over there, it's got plants that you don't find anywhere else in the world.
Good. So are we
And a
doing,
couple of bugs too. But,
are we doing our best to preserve it? I hope.
well, I got 7 people working meeting on that right now. Yeah.
Well, I think it's after, it's a little later.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? Liz, do you have anything you want to share?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I'd just like to report, I went to this really interesting conference, which was all about all the money that's available through the inflationary, the Biden inflationary.
Reduction Act.
Reduction, thank you, reduction, not expansion. There is all this money. I mean, literally, people were going on and on about various and sundry. And as a result, after it was over, wait till you hear this other source of money. The US Department of Labor for Rural Development, and that's us, has this very extensive program. And this man is the director for Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. And he has this big staff, and they have a lot of money, and they have an affordable housing
Wow.
part. And I was hoping that Mark would take over this, since he's now relieved of our other meeting. But to see, I think this would be, they're very focused on smaller projects, such as they will fund houses for people to buy houses.
That's great.
It's the usual, X% of the average medium income, and it's all those standards. But there is another gentleman who handles our state. There's 3 states involved, and they have a director for each state. But this guy that runs the whole thing is very personable, very open, and was very willing to say, oh my goodness, how can we give you some money? And I said, well, we have our hands out, but anyway, I just like, it would be more, Liz, along the line of what we talked about very preliminarily when we looked at that house over
Park Street.
Park Street, right. And looking at houses that are on the market, it's a
Great.
terrible real estate market right now for anybody trying to buy. But we just need to be more diligent in seeing if we can identify something. The idea is that if we could get something under control and then find someone looking for housing, that they have these various programs that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, I have a feeling that there's, applications and all of the red tape that's involved in this. But it was interesting. Who would have thought, or at least I would have never thought, for looking for money at the Department of Agriculture.
Yeah.
And the Agriculture Department is looking to support rural communities and making sure that they survive and that there are jobs. They have jobs programs, they have housing programs, they have economic development programs. Anyway, so I mentioned that under the, I guess, combination of other member reports and future projects. But the other one is just to put on the table. I know we're going to be busy with this study, But I think that if we haven't had a chance, and maybe we still want to wait, but I would like, and Liz, I'm hoping you'll be able to help us out. If there are things that we should be looking at that might be a possibility for a larger project.
Yep.
We
There's
did-
also, Stockbridge was recently designated a Justice 40 community. Do you know what that is?
No,
Justice 40 is the Biden-Harris initiative that targets underinvestment in disadvantaged communities. And for some reason, I think it has to do with the fact that we're at 10%, only a small part of North Adams, a small part of Adams, and all of Stockbridge are the only Justice 40 communities in Berkshire County.
Wow.
It's kind of insane, and not insane, I think it's great. But yeah, so we also
what
want
does it mean?
it's called Justice 40. It's
What
a
is it?
new initiative
What
for
is,
disadvantaged communities. It's
why are we disadvantaged?
because they designated us. The median income here is only, I keep telling
That's
people
what it
this.
has to do
The
with.
median income here is only $42,000 and we've got 10% affordable housing. We meet the requirement and they designated Stockbridge. I
has
don't know
to-
why. I don't work for the federal government, but I will take advantage of it.
Full-time residents,
Yeah.
right? Full-time
Yeah.
residents.
Yeah.
A full-time, oh, I see.
Yeah.
So
It's not
The census-
counting.
The census is only full-time residents and the
Right, it's
census
not
shows
counting.
we have relatively low income and we're also have invested in affordable housing and they, for some reason, have designated us a Justice 40.
How much money can we collect?
I think we can do the
We
research.
don't have to
on it.
pass go or anything?
Who's doing the research on
Well, I'm kind of the town economist, so I'll take that on myself, but yes.
See what I can find out.
I've just pulled it up on the website.
Okay.
The whole thing on the US dot, Justice 40 it's called.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it spelled out or is it the number?
Justice with the number 40 attached to it.
Huh, and what does 40 stand for?
My age.
Right. So- Right.
Oh, that was
So it's something soul crushing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So where did this come from? Does this come?
I don't
from the
know. I just
inflation?
know we got designated. That's it. It's a little piece of Adams, a little piece of North Adams and all of Stockbridge.
Well, we're tiny, so,
Oh, we're big in our own minds.
yes, but I mean, in terms, we do have a lot of land.
But it's for these kinds of things. And it's run on the transportation department, but it can go toward,
Oh, cool.
housing. There's a whole bunch of things,
Interesting.
that we have to look at. Sewer expansion, there's a bunch of, which would help with housing.
A lot.
There's a bunch of money that's available from this for a wide variety of uses and
Well, we could certainly use some more sewer expansion here.
we could.
Yeah,
We
for
could.
sure.
Indeed, I mean, particularly with both the bogs and protected areas and Stockbridge Bowl still isn't 100% protected, as well as there's some other larger.
So that's my public comment. Are we looking for an adjournment? So I gotta run to the campus.
Anybody have, Liz, Jan, do you have everything?
Yeah, we do.
All right?
Yep.
Kayla?
Yep.
Oh, we'll see you next month.
Yes.
Yes. Good.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, do you have a
Wait.
motion?
Liz looked like she wanted to say.
You want to say something?
No, I was going to make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, she was excited.
All right, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, aye.
Okay.
Thank you all for coming.